Hello everyone, this is Niner Alpha Delta Kilo, and today we're going to explain the cold start communication with the ATC in our FR3D Rafale mode that is based on FA-18 Hornet. So that means the whole radio procedures are exactly the same and the radio is working exactly the same as in Hornet. But before we start in the cockpit, there is one thing that has to be cleared. So in the mission itself, or any campaign or something like this, unless this easy communication is checked in, that means that you can use the communication menu and communicate with either your AI flights or AI AVAX or any AI station, regardless of preset channels and frequencies. But in this case, in most of the mods, you will not be able to talk to ATC on the cold start, as for that you need to bind the COMS1 switch and COMS2 switch menus to talk to either ATC or AVAX or any other AI station. And now we're going to show it and explain how it works. So again, easy communication is checked out, so there we go. We're going to save that and we are going to hop in our cockpit. Here we go. So we are here today showing the very detailed skin made by our community member Sushi, official Croatian Rafale C number 151 with highly details. You can't get any better than that as in real life. And before we start up the whole procedure, we are going to show you the key bindings that you need to set so that you can make such a cold start communication. So here we go. So first of all, we're going to close the canopy. We're going to get less noise. You can close the canopy either with left control C or with this switch here. Canopy open close. So what you need to program is following. So apart from a usual communication menu, in this case you're going to have to program COM switch 1 radio menu and COM switch 2 radio menu. Okay, you see here communication menu as usual. When there is a easy communication enabled, I have not programmed this time. Okay, regarding the cold start, you're gonna need to bind the left and right engine throttle ideal, which is this, and also this, to turn on your radar, unless it's going to remain not operational. because there is no key in the pit for that. So you're gonna program, yeah, radar switch operational, and also a master exterior light switch you're gonna need. And that's what we're gonna use today. So in Mission Editor, we have programmed the frequencies of Batumi Airport, and there could be frequencies showed here. So on the channel 1 I programmed 131, and on channel 2 I programmed 260. Bear in mind that these are AI flight. So in this case, once when you set the 131 as a channel number 1 preset on comms 1, for the AI flight it's going to remain the same on the comms 2. So in that case, in this case, you're gonna, after you are ready to start up and ready to taxi, you are going to switch to channel 2, where you're gonna set this frequency for the tower, and on your comms 2 the 131 will remain a channel that you will communicate with your AI flight in this case. And that's the difference. So going back to the pit, so for the proper procedure, before we start, we're gonna turn on the battery switch on this lever here, and we're gonna call a ground crew to give us a ground electric power. Okay, so now with the COM switch 1, as you can see here, I am going to call the ATC, in this case Batumi, and I'm gonna ask to start up. So again, this is a difference between easy communication enabled and easy communication enabled. So unless your frequencies are preset in the mission editor, you won't be able to communicate in the cold start with the tower. Okay, so now we're going to continue with startup procedure. So we're going to bring with the left click on the mouse on the tip APU to start, and we're gonna have to wait until it's operational. So here is a small light, you will see. There we go, it's operational. So we're gonna start by cranking the right engine. So that means the right click on this tip lever, and we can see here that the engine is spooling up. So once when it reached the 30%, we're gonna press right engine throttle ideal, and off we go. The right engine is spooling up to 65%. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on our displays by this middle, right click on this middle switch. over here, and also scroll with your mouse the brightness on the middle display. Also you can adjust the display brightness accordingly, scrolling your mouse here and there. And also you're gonna have to keybind the head-up display brightness, which there is one in the pit. And now we're gonna start with the left engine. So again, we come to the tip of this lever switch and left click. The left engine is spooling up, as you can see. Once when it reaches 30%, again left engine throttle ideal switch press, and off we go. These throttle ideal switches are just animated here, so they have been here on the start, so but they are still not it's not done, so you can't actually move them yourself up. So for now you have to keybind the throttle ideal cutoff. So here we can see that the both engines are on ideal 65%. So now we're gonna start with the ground alignment by pressing the switch, INS switch to ground, but also we're gonna press and check this box, because like this your alignment will last only 2 minutes. If you don't check this box, it can last up to 8 minutes. So that's a small tip. Here you can already see that the comms 1 and comms 2 are on. This UFC display is rather small, but it's functional. Our developers team are working the best they can to try to replicate as real as it can get the pit of the Rafale. Of course you can't have it ideal, because most of you know that the Dassault as a company has very dangerous lawyer team, so you can't really replicate something that owns to them without their consent. So this is the best we can get. Again, we are watching this highly detailed Croatian 151 Rafale C. Absolutely great job done by Sushi. I congratulate you and thank you very much. Croatia is one of the not many countries that has the Rafales in their air force, and for now we gonna have 12 of them, 10 C's and 2 B's. Hopefully in the near future we buy one more squadron, but it has to be seen. Anyway, so our alignment is done, so we're gonna push right click to INS alignment knob, even to not only to nav, but we can put it also to IFA. That means that it will update itself constantly during the flight. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna clear all the FCS faults by pressing this button here with the left click. Okay, and we're gonna stop the bin test and configure our RWR. To turn on the RWR, you have to right click on the tip of this button and then you set it accordingly to standby and later on as situation required. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to turn on the data link by pressing data links 1, and also there is another data link channel, so we're going to turn that one too. IFF also on. We're going to turn on the ECM and click it to be bypassed for now. And strongly recommended usage of TACAN for coordination and better situational awareness inside your flight, or with your escort or any other package that is doing the same mission as you are, especially for the tactical spread. And if you are engaged in air-to-air engagement, then you can have a better situation once when you come into the grinder situation, that you have the proper distance between you and the rest of your flight. So again, transmit receive air to air. I'm going to choose the yardstick, so Yankee, and I'm going to press channel 2, enter, and I'm going to activate it on. So since we have the AI flight, it cannot be done that the AI turns on its TACAN, but if you have a human flight, you will have here, apart from the bearing, you're gonna have the slash and distance to it. So bear in mind, only human pilots can turn on the TACAN that you can see. You can of course see the TACAN distance to the tanker eventually, or to AVAX, but not to your AI flight. Okay, and now we're going to configure the 8 digits coordinates, because that is to be absolutely precise if you need, for whatever reason, to engage any ground targets or anything like that. So back to HSI page. So we're going to configure waypoint 1, and since our startup procedure is absolutely completed, we are going to of course set the bingo fuel, depends of your mission. And now we're going to ask the ground crew to switch off the cable for the ground power.
Turn off the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now off.
So now before we taxi, we're gonna turn on the master switch for external lights, and we are going to right click the switch of the navigation lights, and now you can see that our navigation lights are on the top of the wings. Yeah. There is one more thing that is being left to be done. It's you have to adjust the brightness of the helmet mounted display by key bindings, as you can see here. And now we are ready to taxi. You adjust your displays accordingly as you like. And before we start, To taxi, we're gonna bring our air brake, parking brake on this left click down. Remember, do not touch the parking brake until your alignment has been completed, otherwise it will break the alignment, so you're gonna have to start it all over again. So we're gonna arm our seat, okay, and we're gonna ask ATC a clearance to taxi with comms 1 switch menu, but now we are going to switch the comms 1 to a second or preset channel, number 2, again with the frequency that we can communicate with the tower. So you can also key bind the channels increase decrease in radio 1 or radio 2, or you can change it with these little knobs, radio 1, radio 2. Okay, I find it more practical to have it on the keyboard. So again, with the comms 1, as you can see, I'm gonna ask the clearance to taxi from ATC.
Springfield 1-1. Request taxi to runway. Springfield 1-1. Clear to taxi to runway 31.
All right. So we have granted permission to start the taxi to the runway. And as you can see on the comms 2, in the preset channel before in the editor, now we can hear at the same time our AI flight. With whom we are going to communicate with comms 2. Of course, in the multiplayer you would bring up your window of VoIP chat, and then you would communicate with push to talk on the frequencies that have been briefed among your flight, and that's quite easy and works fine so far. I strongly suggest to use as much as possible built-in VoIP chat in DCS. I know that many of you are still using SRS or any other means of communication, but since it's been built already in the DCS, why shouldn't you use it? It takes a couple of minutes to configure. Push to talk button comms 1, push to talk buttons comms 2, but it's working fine. Yeah. And one more tip. In my previous videos, I have referred to a small program that is based on a reshade, how to get the sun visor, because especially you see in this case the head-up display of our mode is a bit blurry. Okay, so you have heard the whole communication from the tower and also from rest of our flight. So that program allows you to use kind of sun visor in every mod or official mod that you are flying in DCS that doesn't have the sun visor, by simply pressing one key that you have programmed in the system. So have a look the difference between looking around with this mode set. So just imagine you have your sun visor flipped down, and now I'm going to flip it up, and there you go. It's very, very, very useful. The only official mode that does have this is Mirage 2000C, In the Hornet it's not implemented, unfortunately, but I have found this very useful, and I'm going to post the link in the description of this video, and hope you're gonna like it as I do, and use it as much as you can. So without further ado, let's reset our trim. You have to key bind also that to take off trim reset, and off we go. Once when we are airborne, I will use comms2 switch to communicate with my AI flight. Alright, airborne, wheels up, and gently bring the nose up about 20 degrees, and we are going to couple our autopilot with the waypoint 1 or whiskey 1. So we could hear before that, okay, even number 3 is up, so we are waiting for number 4 to be airborne, and then we will instruct them to come to finger 4 formation with us. Again with the comms2 switch. So I'm coming out of the burner, gonna slightly bring the nose down, turn on the auto throttle control switch. It is ATC, it's gonna hold Mach 0.64 speed, and with comms2 switch I am going to communicate with our AI flight and tell them to go to spread 4 formation, or let's say, I don't know, just cover me. Okay, so we're gonna level up on the Angels 20. Actually Angels 21. And we're gonna press on the autopilot coupled and barometric altitude hold, and we're going to switch our display to situational awareness so that we can see the data link, so we can clearly see the rest of our AI flight. I hope this was clear enough for you to see the difference between easy communication enabled and disabled, and how you're gonna communicate with the ATC or AVAX or any other AI flight, and how you're gonna set your frequency in the mission editor, and that this cold start procedure is also quite clear for you how to make a cold start. Of course everyone can press just auto start and that's it, but I prefer to do it as proper as it gets. So fly safe, and greetings from Airbarba and the 9er Alpha Delta Kilo YouTube channel.